All right, what's going on, everyone? I just saw Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which is the eighth Mission Impossible movie and the last one for now, at least for another 5 or 10 years until they pop another one out. Just a disclaimer: I've only seen Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and this one, so I've only seen these last three that have come out. I really enjoyed Fallout. These last two, and as I'll talk about, the same with this one. I was just like, eh. There were points where I was just like closing my eyes, and I was like, I'll just close my eyes for these parts. Just I'll listen to the dialogue, but I'll just rest my eyes for a second because it is a long movie. It's 3 hours. I know some people are gonna say that that went by really fast, but for me, it honestly went by a while. Usually for movies, I don't get up and go to the bathroom, even if I have to, because I don't like missing stuff unless I'm bored or like I've seen the movie before. And I went and got up to the bathroom at like the 2 hour mark, so I was like, dang, there's another hour, bro. So I went to the bathroom, came back, finished the movie. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. The action was cool, but I wasn't really invested in what was happening, so I was kind of just watching a bunch of stuff happen in sequence, it feels like. There's two big scenes that everyone's going to be talking about. Those are the fun, big action stunt scenes, and those are cool to watch. But again, the stakes in this movie are just not really there. They hype it up a lot, and it's like, I think that's the problem with some of the superhero movies is like every movie is just like, the world's ending, the Earth's going to explode, we're all going to die. And so that's kind of what the theme in this movie is. I know each movie, it's like in the Mission Impossible franchise, it's kind of gotten like the threat keeps escalating, and now this is the last one. It makes sense that it's like a world-ending thing, but also it's just like, we get it. And there are too many characters in this movie, I think. Other than having your base like Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell, and Simon Pegg, who are like the main crew basically since the last movie and like throughout the series. And they just add so many side characters. You've got this whole B plot with the president, and got like Nick Offerman's like a lieutenant or something like that. And then there's just like, they didn't really need to be there. I mean, the president, I understand why she was there and what her arc was, but there was just too many characters that they spent too much time on. I know they were padding the movie to make it 3 hours long for some reason. I guess to make it like a grand send off, but I was just like, it just felt long. Like, that's not always good when a movie feels long. There are plenty of 3 hour movies that feel just like that. And so this movie, I was feeling it, and I was just like, ugh. Like I said, there was points where I was like, I'll just close my eyes for a little bit. The villain is just like a who cares kind of villain. Like I said, I haven't watched the first like 5 movies, so I'm sure like some things like gone over my head, but the villain, I was just like, he wasn't very threatening. I think Fallout, I've only seen 3 of them, but Fallout was my favorite one so far, and I just feel like the way they did that movie will be hard to top in the future, especially after these two not doing it, in my opinion. But I just think Henry Cavill as like an antagonist was a good choice, and that movie had some tension, like towards the end, like in the final fight scene. I feel like this movie, when it was like, and all the movies as they get down to like the wire and the tension and the moment where it's like, is he gonna do it? Is he not gonna do it? When I was watching it, I was just like, he's obviously gonna do it. It's the last movie. They're not gonna destroy the entire world and have him lose. It's like in the last movie, it was kind of like they lost kind of ending in a way, and this one's kind of like they're doing like the Infinity War Endgame thing, but not as well, in my opinion. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. He's still good, still running. He's in good shape. He did a lot of fight scenes, a lot of scenes where he was taking his shirt off. I don't know if he was just like wanting to flex on everybody. Like, everyone knows he's in good shape for his age, but he just kept taking his shirt off or having scenes where his shirt's getting ripped off. But I mean, there's some heart in there. He has some characters, he has some deaths, some other things and whatnot. Like, that's a little sad. But again, I don't really have much of a connection to this franchise. I've only seen these last 3 that have come out. The whole plot about the AI taking over and whatever is like very topical with how AI is going. I personally don't think our AI that we have now will ever get that advanced, because it's pretty stupid and it learns off humans, and humans are stupid. So I think we're fine in that department. But again, it was just a thing with like the end of the world and the AI, and it just felt like a lot. I feel like that phrase, like a hat on a hat, just what can we keep adding to make it seem like it's worse? And again, with this having too many characters, is you have too many people needing to say things in the scene. So someone will say something and then someone will like dumb it down for the audience as like an explanation. It's like, you didn't even need to say that, but there's like 10 characters in this scene, so someone needs a line. All the world's missiles will go off, and then someone in the back will cut to them and be like, and hundreds of millions will die. Like, yeah, no shit, dude. If all the missiles on Earth go off, a lot of people are gonna die. Like, we don't need your 2 cents on that. I feel like just, yeah, too many characters that you don't care about. They're kind of just like, yeah. And the action, like I said, it was fine. Engaging in some of the parts, like the plane part you see in the trailer was pretty cool. There were parts where I couldn't tell which was like CGI and what was real. I think most of it was real, but I couldn't tell because it just looked so ridiculous. I mean, Christopher McQuarrie directs the hell out of this. If he signed up to do another Mission Impossible in the future, I wouldn't complain. But I think after Fallout, it's just like they're not gonna recapture that magic that they had with that one, with like the tension and the action and whatnot. Like the fight scenes in here, I was just like, oh, people are fighting and punching each other. But in Fallout, like in the bathroom scene and at the end when he's fighting him on the cliff and stuff, like there was like stakes and tension, and it was just like, it was engaging. I feel like this movie just doesn't have that, in my opinion. I've mainly just been dogging on this movie, but again, I don't really have a connection to it. It's just how I felt. I was excited to watch this movie. I was like, all right, Mission Impossible, let's go, an action movie. And I was just, again, I just felt bored at times, and I just wanted to close my eyes and take a little sleep. Because you're really just waiting for, at least in this movie, you're just waiting for the big stunts to happen. And there's two scenes that are like the big, like, whoa scenes. That's basically what you were waiting for. Yeah, that's kind of lame. As you're going to hear a lot of people say, that it's just become like a Tom Cruise stunt showcase, these movies. And it is cool watching what he does. They do it well. But again, I feel like it does take away from the actual story. And yeah, main thing for me is just like, yeah, there's just no tension whatsoever. There's like one scene where a character's going to make a decision that's going to kill tons of people. And I'm like, is this, like, I understand why you're going to do this, but it's just like so quick. And obviously if I was in their position and I had to make the choice, I don't know what I would do. But I was just like, I don't know. This seems a bit overboard in my opinion. But anyway, I think I'm going to give this movie like a 2.5 out of 5. I enjoyed the action for what it was. Other than that, I thought it was just a pretty basic whatever movie. I'm sure tons of people enjoyed the movie, and I hope they did, but for me personally, I was just like, I don't really have any connection to the franchise. Obviously, like the ending's predictable, and it's supposed to be like a send off for like Tom Cruise and the franchise for now at least, but it just felt like oh, see you in a couple years for the next one. There wasn't really any final reckoning about it. It was just, all right, we'll see you in like 2030 for the next one. So not like a definitive arc, just a loose ending. Let me know, have you seen the movie? Did you like the movie? Do you like the franchise? Which one's your favorite? Let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace.